Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you today. Is Barry Silbert's digital currency group empire in trouble? We're going to get into it. Watch out, JP Morgan and a digital wallet. I'll say it in so. How about Ripple and Bank of America? How about the United States president leading a crypto call saying things are critical for getting rules and regulations? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, $834 billion market cap for crypto. We're off by a little more than 3%. Good afternoon. 16,100 plus for Bitcoin right now. We see Ethereum sitting at 1,100 plus. We see XRP at 35 cents. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. You can now invest in Link2, the company delivering compelling unicorns to accredited investors. Savvy investors know that hockey stick growth often occurs before private companies experience an exit. And you can get that right here on this platform, link2.com. Click the link underneath the video if you are accredited. And if not, find out if you are by clicking the link and go through the process. You know, there's so many great products on this platform, I can't even begin to tell you. PolySign, Ripple, Uphold. Look what you've done to me on Uphold. Uphold, fully subscribed. I had all kinds of intentions of getting some Uphold, more Uphold in my portfolio, but look what you did to me. It doesn't last long, ladies and gentlemen. If you want this stuff, you better get it while it's hot. That's what I can tell you there. And if you need to, you could use your Uphold wallet to buy private equity on Link2. And if you want, if you're not accredited, or even if you are, you can check out the 25% APY financing and staking there. Or it's not financing, but staking rewards that they offer there as well. Link for that and Link2 underneath the video. Very quickly, I want to remind you about Glint. Where'd my ad go? We're talking about 20% higher cost for lunch, dinners, breakfast, inflation. It's killing everybody. Yeah, we're going to touch it too. Because I think in a time like this, everybody needs as much information as they can possibly get. I've been acquiring gold on my Glint card and I love it. I use it like money because it's God's money. And in a time like this, nothing makes me feel better than to have some gold physically allocated to me, which I can receive if I choose, but I can also spend it and know I got the reliability of gold for money. Click the link for that underneath the video. Heads up, everybody. Heads up. CFTC, Rostin Benham, Caroline Pham, Gary Gensler is about to shove you out in front of that number 9 bus because it is important to note, as Unusual Whales reminds us, that FTX-US was licensed, registered, and fully under the jurisdiction of the CFTC, despite the FTX fallout. You know, look, I could see Gary Gensler absolutely using Rostin and Caroline and everyone at the CFTC as an absolute scapegoat here, knowing full well that SBF, second largest donor to the Democratic Party, and that's how we probably had some of those calls and meetings and we didn't bother scratching down into the books. And there's more potential downside here. Look, and I say this, and I'm not happy about saying this, but I tell you, I think Tether's going to be the biggest thing this market's ever saw. But you know what? I digress. Right now, we're worried about Grayscale now. One of the largest crypto investment firms in the world announced that it will not be sharing proof of reserves as other crypto companies. However, I do want to show the idea that this article is suggesting is Barry Silbert's crypto empire in danger as Genesis allegedly fails to secure funding. They were looking for $1 billion per report we covered this morning. There's plenty of speculation now surrounding the health of Digital Currency Group, a cryptocurrency empire created by early Bitcoin investor Barry Silbert himself. The lending arm of Genesis abruptly halted withdrawals November 16th, and it says here that Genesis was seeking $1 billion bailout, from various investors without any success. Rumor has it Mike Novogratz and the Winklevoss refused to rescue the firm. We shall see as the reporting will continue. However, to be full disclosure here, the article said, by the way, just very quickly, that they only refused to share that information because they didn't want to basically, it appeared to me, they wanted to protect the investment and not expose public risk to the private information. However, Coinbase appears to come out and said, you know what, here's the numbers that you need to know. Coinbase custody revealed the amount held in Grayscale product as of September 30th. No cold addresses were shared to protect that privacy, I believe that Grayscale was concerned about. It says the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust has 635,235 Bitcoin. How about that one? Grayscale Ethereum Trust, 3,056,833 Ethereum. And there you have it. It goes on to break down the rest of this underneath of here. I'm not going to go through it all, but you see that Coinbase is basically showing up for Grayscale, it would appear, and protecting the wallet addresses. Now, listen, this is so on point here, and why wouldn't it be? It's John Deaton, right? Shout out to you, John. Never listen to what a CEO like Jamie Dimon says. It's all BS. It absolutely is. In fact, there's a term for it. It's called talking their book. When you were hearing Jamie Dimon talk about the fact that I'll fire anybody in my firm offering crypto and all of this, and then we find out that they're in it just as deep as anybody else could be. And even deeper now, because now they have trademarked a cryptocurrency payment wallet for JP Morgan. Talking your book. Talk it down and they buy it up while they talk it down until they're ready. And it seems like with a digital wallet patent, they're pretty close to being ready. San Francisco headquarters currency company Ripple is interested in purchasing the assets of failed cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Now, you know what? I went over this weekend, and you know that Ripple doesn't have any debt to speak of, and they are flush with $1 billion in cash. They are poised with enough dry powder to go through this market just the way you would expect the legacy firms to do so and buy this space up pennies on a dollar. If you haven't seen the video from this morning, you need to go watch it because Ripple's filed for a license over in the EU, ladies and gentlemen, over in Ireland to be specific, and it's to get access to all 27 jurisdictions in the EU. And it does point to the fact that Ripple may be looking to become a bank, and they may do it outside of the United States. People think the collapse of FTX was bad. Just wait until Tether. What I tell you, Crypto Vinco, I think him and I are aligning. The stars are aligning here. Just wait until the Tether eventually pops, right? Tether makes up 85% of Bitcoin's volume, says Crypto Vinco here. And with it gone, Bitcoin will be trading far below 5,000 again. It's a ticking time bomb. Don't say you weren't warned. You know, look, I mean, he's preaching to the choir here, right? Because we all, I know we're all waiting for it. Let me just really quickly here. I don't want to get my needle stuck, but I just, for those, I've done this before, but I want to do it again for, just a thought exercise. Imagine that Tether gets its doors shut. You're in all kinds of different altcoins in this one, on this small exchange, that small exchange. How you getting out? Well, I'll just go through Bitcoin. Well, if these numbers are right here, you'll be going through Bitcoin while it's crashing to the ground. Losing money every step of the way you're trying to get up to some high ground. I'm not trying to put ice water in anybody's veins. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here. But I really do believe the bottom for crypto is not in until we fully understand how the United States government, Department of Justice, the OCC, and the U.S. Treasury actually feel about USD Tether operating? We need a little help from the community here. I was looking for a little help from either Matt Hamilton or David Schwartz. They may not have seen it or cared to answer, but we'll see here, and I appreciate them both if they would. But this is shared by T's Crypto Spot here, and he's sharing here. Interesting, I thought the messaging layer wasn't going to work with crypto or the XRP ledger. Someone help me out here. There's a little screenshot showing the ISO 2022 and XRP ledger. Now, I went to Dev's Spot where this came from and looked at it, and it looked like some kind of beta to enable interoperability between the ISO 20022 messaging format and XRP ledger payments. What I'm not certain of is what was this done by an individual, or is this being cited from a much larger project that is going along with, let's say, Swift integration and things of that nature? This I don't know. So, hey, if Matt Hamilton or David Schwartz feel inclined, we certainly would appreciate any help that they could bring clarity on the matter. We will keep you up to date if we hear any credible responses. Until then, it's a community effort. Here is a spot here from day one from Link 2, and I want to remind you about this. I'm going to play this. You need to hear it, and I'm going to go 219 to 313 right here. This is from Nick Burafado and Link 2, day one at Ripple Swell. A couple things that you just need to have. You have to have these things. Let's take a listen. Shout out to Nick.
Through my notes from the day, it's quite loud in here, so I apologize. First thing is, I met with Brad Garlinghouse face to face, and Brad was so confident. He's got an air of confidence about him that's unbelievable. I met Brad first in 2019 back in Singapore, and he's even more confident today than he was back then. He made it clear that they're ready to settle with the SEC as long as they can get clarity on XRP. I asked him if American companies were waiting on the sidelines to jump in the game once clarity happens, and he said absolutely. And he specifically said Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, and he said Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens, because they're going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL in the marketplace. So Brad is very, very bullish. When asked,
and I tell you, that I'm very, very bullish too. And I tell you, I'm reminded of Michael McDaniel, who actually broke the patent in our private Telegram group years ago. I want to say 2019 that was. Shout out to you, Michael. Yeah, that was pretty important moment. And we see Ripple cited right here in the Bank of America patent. Now, we have to have clarity, and that is something I'm very excited about. And it doesn't mean that once we get clarity the day after that things are going to go to the moon. But what it does really point to for me, that Brad cites Bank of America, because we know they've been working with Ripple, obviously, over the years. But what really excites me is that I remember, and I don't remember if it was Brad Garlinghouse or someone else, but they had cited that there is only a small handful of banks that actually handled the cross-border payments for the world, and the rest of the banks have to go through them. And I do remember that Bank of America was not one of them at the top of the heap. That's like a tier 2, tier 3 level bank compared to that tier 1 that handles that, right? So like a JP Morgan, right? So I think this is a moment where we do get clarity, and you do see someone like Bank of America get the opportunity to step out and actually use this technology, Ripple, and I think eventually XRP as well, and have the opportunity to compete with the JP Morgans of the world, which there are only few. So that, to me, is an exciting moment, because I believe it'll be those banks below that will see the advantage, that will challenge the banks and the central monopolists on top that have tried to stop all of this for as long as they can. Ripple announced over the course of Swell, there's nearly 40 payout markets, and I know we covered this over the weekend, but I just want to touch it. Not everybody watches over the weekend. And they also wanted us to know that the on-demand liquidity service, and this actually represents the 40 payout markets, 90% of the currency markets, which is a tremendous milestone for a blockchain project to achieve, and further confirms the utility of XRP. And yes, it does. Yes, it does. And with that, this morning, we also covered, just as a reminder, if you haven't seen the first video this morning, please go watch it. Former Ripple advisor Michael Barr says it is urgent and has warned Congress to pass legislation for stablecoins and crypto. And now we see Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, leads this critical call for game-changing global crypto rules after shock of the FTX collapse, which I feel was absolutely deliberate. It says in here, last month, Global Financial Standards setter, the Financial Stability Board, which we have reported on multiple times, and they have done extensive work on stable coins and global stable coins. Rules that would subject companies and markets to the same tough rules that govern traditional finance. We welcome FSB's proposed approach for establishing comprehensive international framework for the regulation of crypto assets activities based on principle of same activity, same risk, same regulation. The G20 leaders said, adding, they want to ensure that crypto assets ecosystem, including so-called traditional currency peg stablecoins, is closely monitored and subject to robust regulation, supervision, oversight to mitigate potential risks to financial stability. You know, all of this to me is just... it is, the window is closing. The window is closing is what I'm seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm seeing. This is all really, by the way, from U.S. Joe Biden wrote in a statement. This is all him right here that I just read to you. So this is interesting because I have said this before. What we need to see is someone in the group of the G20 or G7 come out and adopt a technology. That's what we really need to see, because that's what we saw in the early days of the internet. We didn't see consumer adoption and use. We're actually seeing it happen backwards in the crypto space as it did for the internet. So I believe a big keystone moment for us is going to be witnessing the adoption of the protocol or technology by a government or governments. And I don't think we're much farther away from seeing the United States probably play a major role in exactly that. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, just my digital perspectives. We're getting closer, ladies and gentlemen. It may not feel like it when you look at price, but it's happening. I'll catch all of you on the next one.